So what are two Singapore stocks that have recently came in our watch list whereby the upside reversal can still be on track? Hey guys, Joey here, top tier advisor in Philips Securities and chief trainer at Trading Impulse Price. So these two stocks have came into my watch list over the past 1 to 2 months, and one of them is right over here called SPH. You can see that just about a month back, there were some upside targets that were drawn when it kind of broke that $1.34 kind of upside targets were drawn all the way to about $1.60, about a 20% upside. And it seems like over the past few days we have seen that target hit, all right, and due to some news that came out. So we look at the news as well, we look at the the chart to see what it says, and of course what it says on the system. Basically, I have a system called OneGT, one good trend account, alerted me to this counter in the first place. And what does it say on the system? Can it be a bit more upside? Right, so that is SPH, the first counter I'll talk about, and then we move on into the second counter, which would be Hong Kong Land, right? Hong Kong Land. So it came to our watch list over the past 1 month. In fact, look at this right away here. This is Hong Kong Land just about a month back on the 1st of March. We had kind of like done a video for it somewhere in end of February. You can check out the video, but we kind of broke this $4.80 resistance level just about a month back, and there were some upside targets that were reiterated all the way to about $5.20, right? So that would be Hong Kong Land. So these two stocks today, all right, SPH and Hong Kong Land, we kind of like dive into the charts, we look at the system to see what it says and if there could potentially be a bit more upside. So do stick around all the way to the end of this video because I think you're going to like what I got for you. So let's dive into SPH first. And over the past few days, there were some news that were announced, right? And this is SPH right away here, announced on 31st March, right? Just yesterday night. And they come announced that SPH shares jumped after company announces strategic review, all right? And so it kind of like, SPH kind of surged to the highest in nearly a year after the company said it is undergoing a strategic review, all right, to consider the options for its businesses, right? So that's what the company is doing, kind of looking at all its businesses to see how it can like unlock and maximize long-term shareholder value. So that's kind of like a good thing for SPH, and we have seen prices shooting up by more than 5 to 10% over the past 1 to 2 weeks, and of course yesterday it went up as well, all right? But let's take a look at SPH in terms of the chart to see what it says. As I mentioned, we have covered it just about a month back, all right, whereby there were some upside targets that were drawn, but now it seems like there's some profit taking coming back. So where is the potential? I mean, can we still see a bit more upside? Let's take a look at the chart right now. Okay, so this is SPH right now, trading at about $1.53, right? So it is 1st of April, Thursday. It's about 8:38 a.m. The market is going to open soon, and we would close at about $1.53 yesterday, right? So I mentioned just about a month back we're somewhere around here at about $1.34, and there were some upside targets that were drawn all the way to about $1.60. So yes, it seems like over the past few days we have hit our target at 160 and some profit taking came back. So let me just take a look at this chart again. You can see this was where we were, and this was a resistance line, and I would say now this will probably become the support. Let me just shift this up line right over here and put this to about green. All right, this is the 140. So when we broke that 130, you can see we kind of consolidated for like about 2 weeks from 130 right to 140. Look at this, 130 to 140, and we broke that 140 resistance level just about last week and started to see some really good actions coming back, especially when they can't announce this just yesterday as well, right? So this was the upside target. It was revised further, all right? So right now you can see that we kind of hit our target at about $1.60, and there was some profit taking yesterday, all right, because this is quite a bearish candle. You can see buyers kind of like push prices all the way up, kind of like in the early day, all right, but at the end of the day, sellers came back to kind of push prices down, right? So yeah, I mean 160 would be a target level whereby one could also think about taking some profit or taking some money off the table, because that's where we might see some selling, right? But in terms of the trend, right, you see that there were already some signs of a good uptrend, right, starting to form up since around, I would say, February, March. Look at this right over here. You can see that this is where we can draw an upward sloping channel support line. In fact, somewhere in November, December, we have started to form what we call higher lows, right? And that's where this upward sloping channel support line is formed, right? If we can, let me just remove this line, and you can see that in terms of the moving averages, right, SPH was pretty much in a downtrend, all right? Right over here, you can see that this red line, the 100 days moving average is the red line, has kind of crossed down below the blue line somewhere in 2018, all the way pointing down, so the red below the blue. And yeah, it's pretty much in a downtrend in somewhere in like 2018, even before the pandemic hit. SPH has been in, pretty much in a downtrend. Right? Of course, when the pandemic hit right over here, somewhere in 2020, we broke that $2.190 level and sort of all the way down. Right? But what happens is over the past 1 week to maybe about 2 weeks, we have seen some signs of the uptrend starting to take shape. Look at this right over here. Look at this. The red lines I mentioned, this red line was all the while since 2018 December, all right, below the blue line. But look at this red line, the 100 days moving average, has kind of like crossed back up above the blue line. Look at this, right? And that was just about early of March, as I mentioned. That was where we kind of was alerted to this counter as well. So kind of crossed back up above the blue line. So there are some signs of the trend, all right, kind of like turning from a down, potentially side, and now potentially moving up as seen from this moving average. Of course, we need a bit more confirmation, and this confirmation kind of came in when we kind of broke that 130 and 140 resistance that I talked about just about a month back, and there were some upside targets that were drawn then. All right, so in terms of the moving average, as I mentioned, yes, there are some signs of a good reversal in terms of the moving average turning up and the uptrend starting to take shape. All right, so what happens is now that we've seen some profit taking around at 160, we might potentially see a bit of a retracement back down, which is normal because we don't want to see prices just moving up every day, right? So each time it hits a bit of a target, a bit of a resistance, which would be that $1.60. Look at this, 160 was the target they have drawn just about a month back before even this played out. And why 160? Look at this, right? 160 was a bit of a resistance somewhere in 2020 in April when we kind of sold off. Look at this, we kind of sold off, and there was some resistance at about the 160. It was like consolidating from like 140 to 160. Of course, it broke that 140 and went all the way down. But 160 was pretty much back to where we were somewhere in April last year. That was the reason why we kind of drew the upside target just about a month back before anything played out, right? But now that we've hit the target, as I say, we can potentially see a bit of a profit taking. You might kind of like retrace back down to 150, maybe back to that 140 right over here. Right, 150 would be an immediate support right now. If that 150 were to break down, then yes, we can potentially hit back to that 140. But 140 would be what I say a good support level, whereby some bargain hunting, right, might start to come back again. Right, buyers might start to come back again to kind of catch the rebound, to kind of catch the uptrend, reversal taking shape again. So we might see a bit of buyers coming up near that 140 to kind of catch the rebound back towards that 160. So yeah, we might consolidate below 160 for now. Right, maybe the range is like 140 to 160, about a 20 cents range, right? And hopefully attempt to break this 160 in the next few weeks, maybe in about 2 to 3 weeks time or a month's time. That's where we can potentially see the uptrend continuing right over here to maybe 180 to that potential 190 level, right? That would be where we were just before the pandemic really escalated, right? But let me just go ahead to look at this level. So, right, and why is it 140? Look at this, 140 is also where the 20 days moving average is. This is where the green line is, and yeah, it was also the resistance, as I mentioned, become broke above over the past week. So this resistance would now become the support level right over here, right? So this will be the range for now. I think anything above that 140 to hopefully 150 as well, that's where the uptrend can remain intact, and we may still see more upside for this whole entire counter to kind of push higher after some consolidation. Okay, so this is SPH here on the OneGT, alright, the one good trend system that I had that kind of like alerted me to this counter in the first place, and also guides us on when to get in and get out. Right? So this SPH right over here, you can see that, as I mentioned, seen somewhere in like 2019, 2018, we were pretty much in a downtrend. You could look at this red bar over here, we call it a trend bar. So it was pretty much red in color in like 2018, 19, and in fact there was some bearish signals. Okay, it's a OneGT red arrow pointing down, so a bearish signal went down. Another bearish signal somewhere in May 2020 when, of course, when the pandemic hit, it went all the way down, and there was a few bearish signal with it, kind of like hitting lower and lower. But what happens was, just somewhere in February, right, about 15th of February, right over here, let me just zoom it in for you guys, and over this period, you can see that somewhere in 15th of February, we got a OneGT bullish signal. So it kind of like, you know, was bearish, and it kind of like, as I mentioned, we kind of look at the moving average, was like turning up, and there were some signs of the uptrend forming. And look at this, the trend bar, which is like was red, now is green. So there were some signs of the good uptrend starting to happen, and this bullish signal came out, which is like a green arrow pointing up, and that was where we were alerted to it when we kind of broke that 130, and of course that 140 gave way, you know, and there was another exit signal here. All right, and then after a few days later, we got a new OneGT bullish signal on the 24th of March. So right now you can see that there isn't any exit signal for SPH. So as I mentioned, now we might see a bit of consolidation below that 160. Hopefully we break that 160, push higher to $182, and I don't know, never know, right? We may see an exit signal come out, and we can kind of like use it as a guide for us to come exit as well. All right, so this is SPH here. Right now we got a 1GT, all right, one good trend, kind of like bullish signal, but there are no exits. So guys, let's take a look at another counter, and this counter would be Hong Kong Land, right? So if you like this video, guys, go ahead to give me an early thumbs up. It will definitely help out the YouTube channel, and thank you so much for doing this, right? So let's dive into Hong Kong Land, and this counter was actually covered, you know, just about end of Feb, more than a month back. We were somewhere around here, all right, and it was like kind of like trading below the $4.80. You can go and check back on the video, all right, which is on Facebook and YouTube as well. So this was Hong Kong Land just about a month back, and there were some upside targets that were drawn when we kind of broke that $4.80 all the way to about $5.20. Look at this right over here, another 7.5% upside, right? So this is about a month back, right? So let's take a look at where we are right now for Hong Kong. As you can see that right over here, we kind of push all the way, you know, as per last month's target, all the way from like, you know, 480 something all the way to about 540, and that's where some profit taking came back. All right, but where are we right now? You can see for Hong Kong Land, we are pretty much trading at about $4.91 right over here, $4.91. It seems like we're seeing a bit of profit taking coming back, and you know, is it time to kind of like enter again? Let's find out, right? So you can see that, as I mentioned in the previous video, you know, there were some signs of the uptrend, all right, starting to happen again. Look at this, right? The moving averages, in terms of the moving average, you can see that this red line, same thing like SPH as I mentioned just now, we have seen the red line, the 100 days moving average, kind of cross back above the blue line, which is the 200 days moving average. So that's a sign in terms of the mid to longer term trend, all right, starting to turn up, and that's exactly what happened. So we kind of like push from like $4, $4.20 all the way to about $5.40, all right, and some selling came back. All right, so is it a good time to start accumulating? I would say yes, potentially that's where we are seeing some good support. Look at this right over here. So $4.80 was initially the resistance level that we kind of broke up right over here. So this resistance would now become the support level, which is why I kind of turned the line from red to green, and anything above that 480 or maybe even that $4.50, you can see 450 is where the 100 days moving average is as well. It's also where we kind of consolidated somewhere in January, February from 450 to 480, and then breaking above that 480. But right now, 480 would be a good support level whereby we can potentially see the rebound happen again back to that 520 to 540 resistance level. So the trend still looks quite okay, I would say, and you know, as long as we hold above 480. In fact, you know, just last week, a few days back, we kind of, you know, neared that 480 level, and buyers came up to kind of push away from this new support level. Yeah, so I would say it still stands, the 480 resistance turn support. Anything above 480, that would be quite good in terms of the uptrend starting to happen. Of course, if we do see the 480 break down, yes, short term, there might be some weakness coming up towards that 450 level right over here, right? But right now, as long as it stays above 480, that's a good sign, all right? And hopefully we climb back up above that $5 to see that reversal happen all the way back to around 540, right? So this would be Hong Kong Land, one of the stocks that I've covered just about a month back in a video. We kind of pushed up, you know, profit taking came back, but doesn't mean it's like all bad and, you know, it's bearish again. No, it's just some short-term profit taking, which is normal because people who have bought at, you know, like 440, $4, you know, if it hits to like 540, it's like more than 10-20% upside. That's where people want to take some profit as well. So it's normal to see some profit taking, you know, as it approaches any of those key targets level, you know, which is where we were pretty much back in 2019. All right, so that is where some selling can happen, right? So normal to see some profit taking in the short term, but in the long term, the uptrend still looks intact, right? As long as some of those good support levels are holding. And for now, this support level would be that $4.80. So this is Hong Kong land on the OneGT system as well. You can see somewhere around here, all right, in 6th of January, all right, we got a OneGT bullish signal. You can see the trend kind of like turned from red to green, so a bit of a signs of some good uptrend starting to take shape. Of course, we got this OneGT bullish signal and we broke that 420, all right, level, and also some upside targets were drawn as well. Went up all the way. We got a bearish signal, and somewhere around February, mid of February, 16th of Feb, we got another OneGT bullish signal, and then it kind of broke that at 460, right, and went up all the way up to that $5.20, and we kind of like got an exit signal for this bullish. So we kind of like entry and an exit. So this is like an exit signal. It's not a bearish signal, it's like an exit based on this bullish signal, right? So this is where we are right now. As I mentioned, right now we are seeing some good support at that $4.80. After that would be 450, all right, and I think if it maintains a hold above that 480 level, all right, that's where we could potentially see another new, all right, bullish entry signal coming up, right? We never know, right? So I'm looking at this system to see what it says over the next few days. As I mentioned, if we do hold above that 480, there could be a potential for the uptrend to continue, and we might see a new bullish signal. But right now, we got an entry, we got an exit, but exit doesn't mean it's not good, means it's heading all the way down. It's just an exit for that previous bullish, just to, whereby you can take some profit if you want, right? And we are looking to see if there can be a new bullish signal. So yes, guys, we have come to the end of this video, and we have pretty much covered just these two stocks, SPH and Hong Kong Land. I hope that you have now taken note of some of the key support levels whereby you can potentially start to time your entry to kind of catch the rebound or maybe ride the uptrend further, right? So we've looked at the system as well to see what it says in terms of the bullish signals that have came out recently, all right? And if you know more about how we do it in terms of how we can use the system, my OneGT system, the One Good Trend system, kind of like guides me or maybe even alert me to these two counters in the first place, you can probably attend one of those free web class or webinar that will be happening real soon. I'll kind of like put the link in the video below, or attend one of these web class whereby we'll dive into kind of like the framework behind this One Good Trend, all right, and we look at the system as well to see what it says and how does it all adds up, right? So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you like this video as well. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, all right, go ahead to smash the subscribe button so that you will not miss out on any videos like this, right? So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Joey here. Take care.